All right, man, we are back. It's Fans of Patrol time. It is time for our review discussion of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. PG 13, 2023, 2 hours, 34 minutes action adventure. Archaeologist Indiana Jones races against time to retrieve the legendary artifact that can change the course of history. Directed by James Mangold, which I'm surprised because I thought it was Steven Spielberg, but it was not. Probably the first one of these films that probably has not been directed by Steven Spielberg. Who's in this movie, Tiff?
All right. We got a lot of great people in this movie. Harrison Ford, of course.
Yep.
Goes without saying.
Yep.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge, one of my favorites. Mads Mikkelsen, one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even know he was in this. It's amazing.
Antonio Banderas. John Rhys Davies.
Salah, indeed.
Toby Jones.
Yep.
Boyd Holbrook.
Yeah.
Ethan Isidore, Karen Allen, Shawnette Renee Wilson, and then some Thomas Kretschmann, some other people that are not.
Yeah, Thomas Kretschmann. He was
no big names.
He was pretty prevalent in the movie, though. So, along with Oliver, what's that?
Richters,
big bastard. So it should be.
He's kind of a goon.
Yeah, super goon, right?
I mean, did he talk in the movie?
I don't think he did. He just.
I don't think so.
His job was to grab people.
His job was
twist people up. Oh shit. Okay, so before we go any further, it is time for. Last time I did this, we had a disaster. It's time. Push that thing and everything was just F.
It went haywire, yeah.
So, Tiff, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny 2023, Oldie Jonesy.
Oldie Jonesy. I'm going to say correct.
Correct. Explain.
I feel like this was a change from the last movie back to the way Indiana Jones should be and is.
Yeah. Interesting.
It has adventure. Indiana Jones, people are like, oh, this is goofy, but it's always got an element of a little goofiness to it. I mean, everything that they look for is real. There's no, do you know what I mean? It actually ends up being real.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a rough time with this one because I did enjoy the movie when I watched it. And when I got out of it, I've had time to think about it. And if you're going to do an old man Jones, this was the best you were going to get, honestly.
I think that they did a good job that way. Yes. Yeah. So what's your one word?
That's a hard one. So my one word would be, damn, I can't say correct, but on track. There's 2 words.
Yeah, I get, we're looking for the same word here. Yeah. So, it's gone back to what it's.
Yeah.
It might not be the best Indiana Jones movie you'll see, but it's more exactly like the way that you would imagine Indiana Jones's story kind of ending if it does end here.
Yeah, I'll say direction because it moved in the right direction.
Yeah, there we go. Good. That's a good one.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. It's wow. It's
no Crystal Skull.
It's not even in a
it's not even in the same realm. It's very strange.
So thank God they learned from that, right? You still have to wonder if this is necessary. I mean, this is one of those characters I keep going back to. I love Harrison Ford in this role, but if you're going to keep making them, time for him to get young again. But that might happen with AI.
I mean, eventually, I think that obviously someday will all be gone, and people are probably going to want to remake Indiana Jones, and who knows what they'll be doing then? But it'll probably be with a younger
or
Indiana Jones.
It might be AI. You just never know. We'll see. You just don't know. So let's hit those spoilers and let's get this thing moving in the right direction, man. So,
yes.
How does this thing start, Tiff?
So they are. It starts with the young Indiana Jones. We're back in time. And he's doing what he says, fighting Nazis, you guys. He's back. Everybody loves to see a Nazi's ass get kicked, and if you don't, we know you're the wrong kind of person. Okay, so we're watching this movie. He's doing what he does best. They're infiltrating. They're looking for. It is not the thing that they actually end up being the treasure of the movie.
They literally
I look at making these claws like I'm an animal.
I know. I wasn't trying to poke holes in the movie's youth regenerator, but I wasn't looking for flaws, so I didn't see any. So let me say that.
Yeah, I will say that I didn't think it was bad.
Yeah, I could have watched the whole movie like this. I literally could have.
I would say no.
It might have fell apart in different scenes or something, because most of it was shot in the dark. But I think I literally could have been like, wow, just keep this story going because this was good. It started well.
They played
action, and it moved in the right direction. Go ahead.
To their advantage. Do you know what I mean? Like they know that certain things maybe aren't where they need to be. And I guess that's the advantage of having Disney money, is just being able to say, like, we're going to make this look the best we can because we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to shoot it at night. We're going to not do an awful. They did kind of stay on his face for quite a bit of time. But they were, I think, strategic with it. And I thought that was a really smart choice for the movie, especially since it gets us back into, like, it kind of reintroduces the spirit of Indiana Jones.
And that's why I say I don't think it's going to be too far off that we might get a young Indy. Hell, I mean, I'm just saying, because yeah, they shot this to their advantage. They did, they did use it, but it will get better. And I was not taken out of this at all. So I was like,
and I would say that the action's really, really good, and all the other people around him that aren't with a CGI face.
Yeah, I like when the bomb exploded and he was sitting there hanging for his life. Wow, that's goddamn.
It's like comes like hit it so hard in the beginning because you get so much of that action that you were so used to. Because like all the Indiana Jones films kind of started off, he's stealing the idol. Right. Do you know what I mean? He's doing something nuts, or like, and I like this kind of, we're in the middle of it. We're introducing what we're looking for, and which ends up being
Toby Jones was the age too, right? And Matt Mikkelsen in this.
I have a question about Mads Mikkelsen because he looked the same to me when he got older, and I thought he got hit in the face with like a steel pipe. So I thought that they were going to, like, when they hit him off the train with like a big signpost, hits him right in the face.
He got destroyed.
And I thought, oh, they're going to do one of those old, this is a scarred up Nazi face. Yeah, no. But he looked the same. They might have de-aged them a little bit, I think, but it's really weird because
the train scene, Jeff. Holy shit. I thought it was
great.
I thought that felt very Indiana Jones. And that's what I'm saying. We had some pretty extensive scenes with young Indy. I mean, this wasn't 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It went for a while. It still was at night, but inside the train it wasn't. Like when he went past all the Nazis.
Oh, when he's like, he's in his dressed and he's like sneaking through.
Yeah, he was sneaking through. Yeah. So I thought I really enjoyed this part.
And originally they're looking for, I had to look this up because I couldn't remember the name of the thing they were looking for. Lance of Longinus was the original thing that they were looking for, but it turned out that was a fake antiquity.
Yeah, it was
so then it turned
the spear tip that stabbed Christ. So
correct.
And it was
and it wasn't real
right
in the movie. It was a fake. And so then they found the Antikythera, which is so hard for me to say. Is that how you say that?
I knew it was Archimedes' dial.
Archimedes' dial. That's what we're gonna call it, because like they call it both intermittently in the movie.
Yep.
And this is the real artifact. But it's only half of it.
Yeah. So
they're trying to explain. Mads Mikkelsen's character is trying to explain. Hey, this is actually worth what you're trying to do. It'll give you like those powers.
Yeah. See,
that you're looking for.
I didn't understand that it was a give you powers thing. I thought I knew it would make you powerful, but I didn't know where they were going. I was like, well, what the hell does this thing do? It was unclear to me. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
They get away with it. There's some great scene when the train crashes and stuff, and the Allies are up. So it is kind of cool that, and they insinuated in the last movie, more than insinuated in the last movie, that Jones worked for the federal government during actual World War II.
Yeah, trying to recover stolen antiquities, right?
Yeah, but I think he did more spy stuff, because in the Crystal Skull, he was known as like this master, person. I think he even had rank, you know what I'm saying? And so most of the Indiana Jones takes place before World War II, and to the inevitable fight. And so this is the actual fight, and he's doing his patriotic duty, doing his thing. And then next thing you know, that's over, and now we going to
it's the 60s,
right? And so there's
welcome to the 60s.
There's the moon landing is happening, and people are doing parades and stuff like that. And one of the most standout scenes that they did on purpose, they did, is when they made that old man take off his shirt just so you could see how old he was. And I was like, wow, they like.
I honestly, when I thought he took off his shirt, I was like, I mean, doesn't look bad.
No. But I'm saying, to me,
they're making him look like he's haggard. He's also like in this movie, he's a defeated Indy at the beginning. He's not like himself
with a cheap clock, from, from the university.
Then they give him that clock and he just gives it away. But like he's divorced.
Yeah.
From Marion.
Oh, they wrote Shia LaBeouf to straight the hell out of here.
See you guys. Okay.
He wrote his ass. Look,
there was no even. They managed to make it quite poignant because it's about how he died.
It was brilliant,
and you don't even remember. They don't say much, so you don't really it because it's established in the last movie. But you don't even if you have not seen the Crystal Skull, you would not be lost here. It's like.
And it was a piece of contention for him and Marion, who are the perfect non-perfect couple to get to split up, because he was like, why would they split up at that age, and so I guess he was wanting to show his dad that he was brave or something too, so he joined the army. And he told him not to, so he did it because he told him not to, and then he dies in the service, like many other people did, when they couldn't stand they couldn't be around each. She couldn't be around him at that point and left him. And I was like, wow, that's a complicated, real story, instead of just saying, oh, he's in Sri Lanka.
It was really, I was like, that's pretty well done. And to make it like actually not like a goof, it's an emotional thing, because that's something that a lot of people have to go through, is losing a child. And they actually do, when that happens, a lot of people do end up getting divorced.
Yeah, but even at their age, they still took it another step because, they're not the traditional family because he didn't raise him. You know what I'm saying? So
he wasn't there, right. But it's just, but later on, obviously, I think that the implication is that they got quite close, obviously.
Yeah.
But so it's at this point in the movie, and from, if you watch a trailer, that Indiana Jones is going on an adventure.
Yeah.
And he is going to be doing some stuff.
Yeah.
But they have a kind of a stand-in for him, and that's his goddaughter,
Helen,
who was the daughter of the guy, Helena, who was the daughter of the man that he was on the train with.
She got on my goddamn nerves in this movie.
Oh, I like her. Oh, that's really tragic to hear you say that. I think she's sick of her. Very charming.
I was like,
I think she's very charming.
I did not find her charming at all. I was like, I can't stand her ass. That's
you're hurting. You're hurting my heart.
No, that's how I felt. I didn't like her for a long time. And even when I was supposed to like her, I really didn't like her. I'm just saying.
So she does double cross him, but what's happening is Indy's working at this university. Like you said, he's retiring. And he leaves. She's at his lecture, and he leaves, and she catches up with him to say, hey, I think I know.
He knew he was being swindled though, because he was like, you didn't, me and your daddy, we didn't end on the best terms. I'm surprised you're not mad at me. He didn't say that, but he was like insinuating that. And Tiff, why they murder all them old people in that university? God damn.
Oh, they really, I think, they didn't want to kill off anybody like the regular cast, but those two, I actually genuinely felt bad for those two characters, because they were just you're like, could you just imagine being at work and then because Indiana Jones.
You go back into the kitchen for some of that shitty cake that they serve at work. And that's
you're like, you know what? I wasn't going to, but I'm going to have some cake. I'm going to do it. And then you get in there, and then to be the person who was like, what the fuck was that? And then come in afterwards and also get killed. I was just like, God, they're being really brutal in here.
Shit. I was like, don't be an extra in this movie, man. God.
Well, he had taken her in there to give her, because he was like, that dial isn't lost. And obviously she probably knew that. He gave that to her, or she took it. And the thing about this scene is that, and it happens in a lot of adventure movies and Indiana Jones and stuff like that, is he's a person concerned about antiquities.
Yeah.
He knocks over all of those shelves in that university storage room.
Like, my ass or these antiquities, and they
yeah. I suppose I'm not sure how I would feel, but he knocks them all over. He escapes the kind of goons.
The CIA working with the ex-Nazi, which 100%.
Because they don't, but also I don't think that they knew, because he's lying.
He is, but in real life,
he helped them with the moon landing, supposedly.
In real life, the real life Nazis was full of NASA and all of in our scientific community. So let's not get it twisted. So I kind of like that they did that shit. Like, no, point that shit out because that shit happened for real. And the poor black girl, she was tough. She was doing her thing, but it was just too many Nazis around her, man. I'm like, I was like, she's not gonna survive this. She's rolling with the bad guys. Supposed to be a good guy, but and stuff was happening, and she was just like, you shouldn't be doing that. But people was getting effed. They was killing cops out there, and they was killing people on the inside. And she just like, what the hell, dude? She should have came to her senses. Like, wait a minute. These guys are just killing everybody.
Something's not right.
Right. So I did like Matt Mickelson in his role. I think he did a very nice, sinister type of dude, Yeah. And that was great. So then we start our world adventure. And the guy that I went to the movies with got excited when they got on the plane and they did the map moving.
I'm back, baby.
I was like, how did they do this, right? So what they went to Cairo or something like that, where she was in there trying to sell the clock, and she transformed into a different person at that point. He walks in and she was really arrogant and shitty and, ha 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 ha. And I was like, damn, that's Uncle Andy. Goddamn, So they showed.
Well, I mean, like, it was established that they were not
a tad.
He kept saying, that why are you here? Well, because I'm swindling you.
The one thing about this movie that I didn't like is how the bad guys showed up every single time they showed up. I was like, goddamn. Y'all like y'all got Spidey bug thrown on something. I mean, they literally showed up every single time. It was just like, I guess you're supposed to establish that they weren't stupid, but they showed up and
they're in Tangier, and she's trying to sell the dial for like what I would assume is not a lot of money.
What was its price going for?
$100,000.
I think that was the 60s. That would have been
it would have been, but
back then, millions didn't exist.
I mean, this is like a priceless artifact.
Yeah. But, first of all, you're not going to get as much as it's going to be, in the real world, because it's stolen,
Plus, it's also only half of it.
I don't think that mattered for it. I think maybe it would have went up if you had the whole thing, maybe, but the priceless artifact it was going. And
she's trying to pay off her gambling debts and some other things.
Yeah, they had a stand-in short round with Teddy. Who was supposed to...
Yeah, which I thought that was nice. I like that they have, they introduce these people that you care about so that you have like some stakes when Indiana Jones is doing stuff.
I didn't give a shit about Teddy either, so I didn't care about him either. But
Lord have mercy.
But him now see, I think the worst bit of foreshadowing they did in this movie was the fake airplane with the pilots telling him what to do.
Sure.
Flying a plane later on. I was just like, oh God, come on, y'all can do better than that. Anyway. So, that's a getaway. They got this big long scene that I think went too long.
Oh, the car chase scene?
Oh my God.
I agree. Because it was actually quite well done. I was like, okay, this is great. And then it just kept going. I was like, is this ever going to end?
The heroes and from one car to the next.
Yeah.
They stop this and they start chasing again. God damn, Tiff.
That was a part of the movie that I was like, I think that there was just like a natural expectation of ending.
I was getting bored in that scene.
That you were like, why hasn't this stopped? And after that, they go to Greece,
and we meet Rolando.
Renardo. They're going to. They figured out where the key to finding the other half of the dial is, and it's in the sunken ship. They hope it's in the sunken ship.
Yeah.
So they do this thing, and they're doing a dive, but it's not. But it's not like they don't put on wetsuits. No. It's like they put hosey tubes into the back of your helmet hole, and you have 5 minutes.
Well, back then, deep diving was still something that didn't really happen. They maybe had like some deep sea divers, but people died all the time doing that stuff. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, it's still not easy to deep sea dive.
Right. So, they were going down there and they said, 3 minutes to look around or something like that. And then
it was 5 minutes
without getting the bends or something like that.
And then you'd have to come up. Yeah. So they're down there and then this is not funny, but the Nazis do show up and that one guy just gets savagely killed. He's introduced as a horny, she's horny. She's like, oh, hello, handsome man. And then immediately murdered. They just cut his little tubies.
Yeah.
And he is done.
Yeah.
It was just like, what the the fuck?
And they killed Renardo like he wasn't nothing too, back on.
Yeah.
They got him back up there. All the men are murdered and massacred. I said, damn, Jones came to town and everybody died.
Yes. Does anybody want to be friends with Indiana Jones? Because it seems like really dangerous.
What you bring to my door, right?
Before they go down there too, I did enjoy that the one kid says, "Oh, there's eels," and then he looks at him. He's like, "They're kind of like snakes," and he goes, "No, they're not."
Yeah,
I like that as a callback to the why did it have to be snakes without it being why they have to be snakes. Those are the kind of like really well done, fun callbacks that I enjoy in a movie that's a franchise that goes on, because it's recognizing its significance, but without it being. And they don't do it they don't do it more than once. That's it. I thought it was really great.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting too. We didn't say anything about what's his name. John Reyes, who plays Salah, Reese Davis, who plays Salah. Him and his whole family were living in America. I thought that was weird. I was like,
yeah, I wondered why unless
kids.
Well, I think they were his grandchildren. He was really happy, and I like to see Salah happy. And he was like, I almost like, it was tearing up at that scene where he was like, I'd like to go on an adventure again with you, my friend. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He's just like, and I was like, it's just. Oh, it made my little heart. Made my heart hurt.
What I did like is when they stole the bad guys' boats and left them on that damn shipwreck. I was like, damn time, because I was tired of them showing up every single time, Tim. But they left them out in the middle of the ocean, by themselves without an engine and stuff, and went on about their business and moved to the next section. So, what was the next section, Tiff?
They go to what we see on the ship is her translating that tablet. It's in some language that her father had taught her and they didn't know. And then they blow up the boat and leave and whatever. But then they get to the temple or the cavern. It's the Ear of Dionysus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're looking
weird because he has on a modern day watch, but it's old and stuff like that,
Yeah. So they're talking in the cavern, they're finding the hole. This is all very Indiana Jones, where you're like looking
Indiana
for the
Jones
secrets
shit with this, right?
Yeah. And so I really enjoyed that. And then they get down there, and they see that he had the helicopter propellers on his coffin and the watch.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
And they were like, "Oh, well, then it worked."
Tiff, I still didn't get what was happening. I was like, "What's happening?"
I don't know if like you're necessarily supposed to understand exactly what's happening now, because they've put together the dial.
Yeah.
And so they're able to use it just like in all Indiana Jones movies. This is not like a fake thing. It's real and it works.
Yeah.
And so the kind of twist, quote unquote, is that Jurgen, that's Mads Mikkelsen, he's going to murder Hitler. And he wants to go back in time and murder Hitler so that he can be kind of so that he thinks that he could make the plan work and Hitler couldn't.
Yeah, he did.
So that's the plan.
Yeah, hell of
and so they get into the plane, and they use the dial.
Little boy is following in his own plane that he stole,
which that's the one thing earlier on in the movie that I was like, okay, is that for a brief moment when we're in the swindler's kind of casino or whatever it is where they're selling the stolen goods, we see him pretending to fly an airplane.
Yeah, that was bullshit. It was bullshit.
It's very stuck in.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, okay. But then he flies the plane, and then it wakes up and there's a pilot. A pilot is in there very conveniently. Why couldn't he just wake up the pilot that was in there and say, "Fly me"? I guess you have to steal him. He would say no. He'd say no. But the plane goes back in time. It works. But it doesn't take them. It can only go to like certain dates and time.
Yeah, it was very interesting because they came in the middle of a battle, and all kind of shit was going on. And I was like, they spent a lot of money on this sequence. It's not no quick little hovering over CGI. They had all these soldiers, and they had all these catapults, and they were shooting at the planes, and the planes wasn't doing well. They should have done a lot better against these goddamn things, but they ended up. Bringing one, all the bad guys died on that plane. They.
Oh yeah.
Bam.
Right. So there's the fight on the plane, and so like before the plane even goes down, it's already over for the Nazis. Like they're done.
I mean, the one guy was so preoccupied with shooting the people in history out the window, just destroying. Probably messed up the whole time.
Yeah, just like the crushing that butterfly.
And
just living an easy street.
Right.
So they're flying the plane, it's going down, and then they jump out.
Yeah.
He and Helena.
Yeah.
With a parachute.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they land.
What'd you think about
And this is the part where you're like, you have to just kind of accept it.
You did, like, because it was like I didn't realize they were going this direction. And you were there. You were like, okay, so Archimedes is there. He comes out. He meets them,
and they're so excited to meet him because they obviously are historians.
Tiff, I really thought he was going to stay. I was like, oh, is he still going?
Yeah, and I mean, like, this is like that's like the send off, not send off for Indy, which we get kind of a nice like, okay, this is clearly indicating that it's the end of whatever this era is. But what I liked about this part of the movie is that at the time that they land, Archimedes had only completed part of the dial and couldn't figure out the whole thing. Yeah. So when he sees the whole dial, he's like, Eureka, basically. And then he gives it back to them. But it's like this whole cyclical idea of time. Like if they hadn't done that, he couldn't have made it and they couldn't have gone there, and then all this other stuff. And I like that, like the confusing logic of time travel. But yeah, he wanted to stay. He was tired. He was old. He was like, this is a place of my dreams. And part of me was like, maybe you should just.
It was stay. To me too. I didn't want to get stuck back in time. But then what they do after this was like, okay, that's what he.
That was actually I agree, because I was like, maybe if he's happy, you can just leave him.
She punches him out, right?
She does.
Left crossed him. He's like out cold. Next thing you know, they're back in New York, right? And
yeah, he's been patched up.
He's been patched up, and because he should be dead. He's too old to be doing all that bullshit.
Yeah,
and. Marion comes in with a bunch of groceries, and it's like a old Leave It to Beaver show right at this moment. You know, like they're in New York.
It's very sweet.
Yeah, comes in, they patch up their little relationship, and didn't something happen that made him grab his hat? You know, at the end, like, you know, they make up, and you know everything is nice.
I think so. Sulla's there, and he's taking them out to ice cream. The kids,
right.
And Helena is there too, but I think she also leaves when he comes in. But let me see.
Something right at the end.
Yeah, I think it's just I think they just show his hat.
No, like he grabs it real fast, like something happened.
Well, maybe they're going for the ice creams. I don't remember anything happening.
It was something else, but whatever. So, you know, I did enjoy watching this. The movie had problems for sure.
Sure.
Probably the best it could ever be with old ass Indy. So let this one die. He said it was going to be his last one. Who knows? You know.
I mean, I think that's probably. I mean, if that is, I think this is a great send off because
it's better. I'm sorry.
No. They show because they show him doing things that you would assume he could do at that stage in life, and that he would still be doing if he were to be taking up the Indiana Jones mantle. It was the thing about it is I'm okay with anybody doing anything as long as, you know. If you're trying to make him do some stuff that he just isn't capable of doing, then it rings false. So you're able to but it's not false that he's an adventurer still. It's not false that he has that spirit.
Yeah.
So like to put that in there and then to give him a really nice send off is wonderful.
Yeah. I dug it. And I guess the biggest thing it did really is just not let the Crystal Skull be the last movie. You know,
the biggest thing it did was to course correct from the Crystal Skull.
It had to, man. Jesus, it was a terrible movie. And I love Indiana Jones. It hurt my heart. It was like a Phantom Menace moment. I'm like, damn. Y'all had to mess with it, didn't you? Just had to.
Stick your fingers back in there where they don't belong.
Exactly. So, man, that's it. We can't do the damn thing. We got it done, man. I think next week, Tiff's making me go see Barbie. So, even though we got Mission Impossible, even though we got
too bad,
I gotta go see.
I put my foot fucking down, everybody.
Barbie.
All right,
let's see how it goes. I'm the host of Fans Patrol. My name is Montego. Thank you for hanging out with us and doing your thing with us. Say goodbye to these lovelies, Tiff.
It's been a pleasure as always.
Indeed. So until next week, man, and hopefully nothing happened, man. I got a lot of shit going on. That's why the shows have been all messed up. It's my fault. So until next week, man, we will be
on patrol.